My name is Daniel Hodges. I am president and co-founder of Pieces of Me Foundation. We began the process of getting the organization formed in June of 2019, and we officially became an organization incorporated in Arizona in 2020 and received our IRS 501c3 status in early 2021. The basis of our foundation is we're creating a virtual community where people can come and they can ask their questions, they can receive support or connections to resources or whatever that they need in order to help them get from where they currently are to where they want to go. I've often analogized it to, we're trying to build the Wikipedia of disability resources where people can use the power of crowdsourcing to find whatever it is that they are needing, but it's also more interpersonal than that. A lot of times friends and family, despite their best intentions, they don't really know how to have those difficult conversations. If I walk up to one of my friends and say, I'm really having a really bad pain day today, they can sympathize, but can they really hold that space with me as we talk about surgeries or as we talk about flare-ups? And the answer to that is often no. So what we do is we take some of that pressure off and we say, okay, here are some other people, maybe they have similar experiences, maybe they don't, in a lot of different ways, but in particular, they have dealt with this kind of flare, they've dealt with this kind of surgery. And so it helps bring people together in a sense that helps them understand that they're not alone, that there is someone out there experiencing something very similar to them in that moment, and allows friends and family to provide more generalized support in the way that they are more prepared to. I think the mission has clarified in a lot of ways. We started off with a very vague dream, and as we've gotten into it, we've understood more and more of the role that allies can play. We've understood more and more of the way that we can tie our movement more directly into the broader diversity and inclusion movement, because that's where we belong. We belong as part of that conversation. And so I know personally in this last 2 years, I've gained a lot of perspective. I've gotten a lot better at expressing enough of the vision to try to make it more digestible while still building new things in. For instance, we are slowly but surely, we're building that database of resources, whether it be, here are some government entities that provide X, Y, and Z service. Here are some other nonprofits doing more targeted work. Here are some awesome articles that we have found that can help expand one's understanding on a given topic. So there's that sort of thing being housed on the website. But then I think here's a great opportunity to point out the strength of our database is directly tied to involvement from our community. So we really ask people to come and learn, but also bring what they know, because there are things that they know that are unique to them, but are very helpful to others. I have a connective tissue disorder called Ehlers-Danlos. One thing I want the general population to understand is I went through 13 years of seeking answers medically in several different states, almost every medical specialty you can think of, before finally getting a diagnosis. And the reality of the matter is, you pull any study you want from the rare disease community, and my experience is anything but exceptional. It is quite common for people to go years or decades without getting a full understanding of what's going on within their own body, or a way to find the tools that will help them get past whatever circumstances they're in. And so that's why this is meaningful to me, because I've lived it, and I want to help the general population understand But this is the part of the medical system that we don't often have out in the open. And I think in equal measure, the people who are currently seeking those answers, going from doctor to doctor, getting discouraged, I want them to understand that it's not a problem within you. It's a manifestation of a broken system. And there are people, there are communities out there who are ready to take that journey with you. Even I, in a very vulnerable sense, have to deal with it myself every day too. I share a message of hope. I share a message of acceptance. And it's how I deal with my personal pain, both physically and psychically. But that doesn't make the pain go away. I still have to deal with flares. I still have to deal with surgeries. I've had orthopedic surgery in all 4 of the mainland US time zones at least once in the last decade. So I get it. But the alternative is just so bleak and so dark that this is a way that we can find fulfillment and find a lot of joy by just going out and reclaiming those parts of our identity that the world tries to steal sometimes. In a nutshell, is to help people let go of their own internalized low expectations of what they can be and what their life can look like, which is something I've had to do myself, and to help them ask the question, what do I want to do? What do I want my life to look like? Setting aside all of these negative perceptions that society has instilled in me. Where do I want to go and start to dream a little bigger? And then for friends, families, allies, really go back and reestablish their understanding or their comprehension of what disability is or what it has to mean. Because so often we found ourselves in what they call the medical model of disability, which is a deficit model. Here are all the things that you can't do anymore or that you'll never be able to do. So we want to shift that paradigm and say, no, here are the talents, the gifts, the things that this person does bring to the table. How do we help them maximize those? Because we know with any human, whether or not they identify as having a disability, if we're looking at what they bring to the table, we are positively reinforcing those gifts and helping them become more empowered and more able to participate in society. And so we want to get past this notion of, well, I have this or that going on. What do I have to contribute? Because the answer to that is a lot. So come share, learn, expand, and be part of this.